face one of the best teams in the country on a beautiful night. Temperatures should be dipping into the 50s as the sun sets here. The low 60s at the moment as we have our first pitch. Talon Edwards showing bunt. Doesn't get all of that one. And we are underway.
What a beautiful night for softball. Sun just setting over right field. A little crisp in the air, but I'm sure this is nothing for the Cowgirls of Oklahoma State.
Edwards takes up and away, ball one. Edwards, an incredible young talent. Should have been a high school senior last year. Enrolled at 17 years old and went on to hit .328, named a freshman All-American. Now in her sophomore year as an 18-year-old, she's hitting .480 in 9 games to start the season.
That's crazy talk.
Out of Moore, Oklahoma.
It's incredible what these young ladies can do earlier and earlier with all the travel ball programs.
She ropes this one into right field for a base hit.
Talon turns on this inside pitch. It just sits a little too fat over the plate from Miss Hobbs. Gets a little too much of the plate, and she ropes it into right field.
So an early base runner for Oklahoma State. And Edwards is absolutely a threat to run. 3 steals in 3 attempts to start the year. Here's Claire Tim, 11 out of 26 to start the season after a great start. She only had 8 hits last year as a part-time player. Tim, a sophomore out of Buena Park, California. Not a bad place to grow up.
No.
Hatters defensively, Jordan Stanfill behind the plate. Baxter at first and Giannopoli at third, both playing in here. Infield at double play depth. That bunt is into the left-hand batter's box. The throw down is in time. The throw behind Edwards. She's back in safely. Nearly a double play for the Hatters. Heads up play defensively, but it's merely a sacrifice for Tim, and that gets Edwards over to second with 1 out.
Tim does a good job of laying the bunt down, but it doesn't roll much. The ground was wet during the between game transition. It didn't get much roll. Stanfield was able to pop out behind the plate, get an easy out at first, and almost able to double Talon off at second.
Here's the super freshman Carly Godwin, number 8 recruit in the country coming into this year. Her high school numbers are sort of hilarious. She hit .731 as a senior with 20 home runs and a slugging percentage over 1,600.
Video game numbers.
Yep. Even then on rookie mode. She's off to a very strong start in college. .303 with a home run, second on the team with 8 RBI. And has a chance, if you're projecting out, to be one of the better players the Cowgirls have ever had. Extremely excited to have her in town.
Coach Gajewski always does a great job of recruiting good talent, not only power and speed, but great defense, good pitching, and of course does a great job of hitting the transfer portal these days, getting some good transfers in as well.
There's one of those on deck that we're familiar with, Caroline Wong, who was at Liberty for 4 years. 1-2 on the way to Godwin. Hobbs got her with the off-speed pitch. Well, that's something you got to learn as a freshman, right? How to lay off that stuff. They don't throw those in high school when you're hitting .731.
Yeah, Hobbs doing Hobbs things. That's one of her strengths, is her change of speeds. She works in and out, up and down, but her change of speed is probably one of her strengths.
That'll bring up Wong, who was known as Caroline Hudson, just got married when she was at Liberty. Got a great note from our old friend Jamie Bataille before the game that she has hit a home run in this building in the ASUN tournament last year for Liberty against Central Arkansas. Saw plenty of Stetson in her time in Lynchburg, and now playing a grad year at Oklahoma State. She was the ASUN Player of the Year 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, so very familiar with the Patty. She got to play here not only regular season, but conference tournament, so she's got some good experience here. I'm sure she's passed that along to her teammates.
At 35 home runs in her career with Liberty, and Jordan Stanfill out to have a chat with Lauren Hobbs. Finish off the Stetson defense. Got Napoli at third, Addison Foster at short, Michelle DePuma at second, and then Baxter over at first. Outfield, left to right, Annabella McLaren, Cammie Epley and Haley Fox, with Laith Freeman as the DP today. Hobbs trying to get out of this jam. 2-0 to Wong, is in the dirt and behind Stanfill, and Edwards will move on over to third.
That's one that Hobbs would like to have back. Just got away from her a little bit. They had that little chat out on the mound to just try to settle her down a little bit, but I think she's just trying to do a little bit too much. Hobbs just needs to throw her game and trust her defense behind her.
That will go down as a wild pitch. And there's ball 4, and at that point, there's no real reason to mess with Caroline Wong.
Yeah, nobody hurt there. You're giving her one base. You have 2 bases open. You really just need to control these batters and try to get that third out without any runs crossing the plate.
Another talented young player coming up. There's going to be a lot of that on this Oklahoma State team. Michaela Wark, redshirt sophomore, did not play in a season at Kansas, then came to Oklahoma State and hit .314 with 10 homers as a redshirt freshman last year. First pitch fouled off the screen, 0-1. Wark was a Big 12 all-freshman pick. Looking to improve on that as a sophomore in a Big 12 that is rapidly changing.
Yeah, the kind of the topography of
0-1, the delayed double steal, and Edwards crosses the plate. They've got Wong in a rundown, so Oklahoma State essentially trading the run for the inning as Edwards got across the plate and then Wong caught stealing to retire the side. So OK State grabs a run on a hit, no errors and nobody left on base at the top of the first. Hatters 2 up. Foster, a top recruit for Shelly Cousins this year, leading off as a true freshman.
Yeah, Foster has shown some real promise, both at shortstop and as the leadoff hitter. She's got some good pop in her sticks, but also got some good speed in her legs and covers the shortstop very well.
1-2, down and away, and fill that premium defensive position with a plus defender for 4 years. You certainly take it, and Foster comes in with that ability pretty much right away. Was All-State in Illinois. She's out of Lockport. 2-2. Poked up the middle, off the glove of Aycock, and Foster's going to beat it out for a base hit. Just went right back up the middle, and Aycock couldn't get down enough to snag it, and the Hatters with a leadoff base runner.
Yeah, one of the biggest holes on the field is right up the middle. The pitcher has the least time of anybody to be ready. Foster does a good job of just poking that right up the middle and is fortunate to get it off the glove and clean single.
Now Stetson's best player, Cammie Epley, starting to add a little more power to her game. She came in as pretty much exclusively a slapper. She's going to lay down a bunt here, but fouls it off, as Foster would have been pretty much automatically to second. And Epley, is not just sacrificing herself. She certainly has the speed to beat those out for hits.
Certainly, if she can place that ball, probably just pretty much 5 to 6 feet right out in front of the plate. Towards the pitcher would be the ideal spot in this case, because Talon Edwards covers a lot of ground over there at third base.
Epley 10 for 22 to start the year. Last season, she had 8 extra base hits all year. Still had a very strong season. She hit .320. But this year, she's already got 3 extra base hits in her first 9 games.
Well, then I feel like she's got a little bit more help at the top of the order this year. So she's not feeling like necessarily she's got to do it all herself. She's got Addison Foster up there, and she's followed up by some big bats behind her. So I think she's settling in a little bit more. Of course, certainly the year under her belt helps her, but just trying to, kind of find herself as opposed to do everything.
1-2 to Epley. Swings and fouls it back to the screen.
Nice swing. Outside pitch. She just got under it a little bit, fouled it straight back to the screen. Usually when it goes straight back, that means you just missed under. That's a good sign as a hitter.
Aycock's a tall pitcher at 6'1" with a big arm. Epley fighting it off. That's low. Foster runs. The throw down not in time as Foster sneaks in under the tag. That was a good throw from Schneidmiller back there, but just enough for Foster to get in.
It was great timing by Schneidmiller. She just got a little bit of a short hop to her second baseman, and that caused the glove to come up off the ground as Foster was able to slide right under it.
So now the Hatters with a runner in scoring position, nobody out. 2-2 to Epley, and she gets a piece to stay alive against Aycock. Foster was ready to go to third, thinking that might have been a wild pitch, but Epley did get a piece of it.
And that's smart as a base runner. If you're unsure whether it's fouled off or not, you can advance. They'll always tell you to go back. It's free to go back.
2-2, and Epley hits that to pretty deep right field. Back to the track at the wall. It's gone!
What a great swing by Epley. She gets a pitch a little bit too much over the plate. I'm sure that's one Aycock would like to have back. Epley puts a good swing on it, parks it over the right field fence, right into the sunset.
What a start for Stetson, a 2-run home run for Cammie Epley. Just the third Hatter homer this season in their first 10 games. And they have jumped all over Kyra Aycock and taken a 2-1 lead over the Oklahoma State Cowgirls.
And it's quite a response to the scoring of the Cowgirls in the top of the first. For the Hatters to bounce right back, they're really feeling themselves today.
Cammie Epley now already with half as many extra base hits as she had all of last year, and you see the natural power in that long frame of hers. That was a no-doubter off the bat. It's Laith Freeman, who's hit some home runs in her career at Presbyterian, steps up. Freeman, a real great pickup in the transfer portal as a grad transfer for Shelly Cousins. She wraps one down to short. That one eats up the shortstop. That's Davis over there who couldn't handle that, and it'll be a base hit for Freeman.
Yeah, solid contact by Freeman. Again, the pitch just gets a little bit too much of the plate, sitting a little big for her. She hits a BB right at the shortstop, who's unable to corral it off her body and make the throw.
Rosie Davis played second against UF on Monday. She moves over to short tonight. True freshman, couldn't handle that one. It goes into the scorebook as a hit for Freeman.
That was a hot shot, though. I don't know. It's a lot of traffic right in front of the shortstop position, but that was steamed out there. That's a big ask to ask anybody to field that cleanly.
Infield came together there to try and settle Aycock down. He's given up hits to the first 3 batters. And now Marissa Baxter has maybe the most natural power on the Hatters stepping in.
If you're the Hatters, you want to try to jump on this wagon as quickly as you can. You got to assume that the Cowgirls have got people in the bullpen out there, and they're going to bring in and have a short crook for this midweek game.
Hatters have a pinch runner for Freeman, by the way. Madeline Sinoraki is running at first, as Baxter hits one over the street outside the building on the right side. 0-2.
Good swing at outside offering. She didn't try to pull it. She was trying to go with it. Just got under it just a little bit. She centers that up, and she'll be able to send that out to right.
0-2. Got her. Off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Throws Baxter one away.
It's a good pitch by Aycock. She came back with took a little bit off and went down at the knees. I was able to get Baxter looking.
So here's Annabella McLaren, who has one of the 2 previous Stetson home runs this year. 4 for 20 with a homer. Team high 5 walks. Showed a great eye last year and has now added a little power to her arsenal as a sophomore.
Yeah, I think she settled in a little bit as a sophomore. She's kind of got, obviously, the games behind her. But I think that was one of the more impressive things about her last year was her eye at the plate. She just had so much poise and presence, just waiting for her pitch and not being afraid to take the ones that weren't and looking for the ones that were hers.
Sinoraki at first. Hatters with the 2-run homer from Cammie Epley have taken an early lead. 1-1. Cut on and missed. Aycock getting McLaren to go fishing down and in. 1-2. McLaren out at Jacksonville. She and Epley both down into land from the River City. 1-2. Just inside. Oklahoma State fans not thrilled with the call, but it did look a little bit in from here.
And that was a nice pitch by Aycock. She's been working the outside part of the plate and tried to sneak one under the hands and just missed the inside part of the plate.
2-2. That one's outside, and there you see the good plate discipline from McLaren, taking 2 close pitches with 2 strikes, and she's got a full count. Payoff pitch. Ground ball foul.
Little wake me up down the third baseline.
Cowgirl dugout in a bit of stunned silence at the moment. Cami Epley's first home run of the season, giving Stetson the early lead. 3-2, McLaren hits one down to Edwards, who can't get it, and it's a worst case scenario there as she slowed it down enough for everyone to be safe. That's a little squeezer base hit for McLaren. 2 on, 1 out.
Yeah, she pulls this outside pitch and kind of gets it off the tip of her bat and gets a little kind of excuse me swing, and Talon does a great job of laying out. It just tips off her glove, unfortunately, and goes to where the shortstop would have been.
Edwards is the sort of athlete that if she gloves that, she can pop up and make that throw.
Absolutely.
But just out of her reach. And as Michelle DePuma stands in, what a chance here for Stetson to add to this lead in the early going against the number 8 team in the country. DePuma picked up her first hit at the end of the Washington game. She had been 0 for 13 on the year prior to that, but got on as the tying run in the 7th inning.
And I think that's something that's going to change shortly here for DePuma. She's too good of an athlete to not be swinging a little better than she is.
Transfer from UCF in her first year with Stetson out of Sarasota. Takes a strike on the inside corner. She was a top 100 national recruit out of high school in 2022. And she went down to Orlando. Played in just 16 games. She hits this ball in the air to left center. That's pretty deep, to the wall, off the base of the fence. The runners had to hold, so all it amounts to is a very loud single for Michelle DePuma, but her bat is coming alive today here at Patty Wilson. Bases loaded, 1 out.
She gets a pitch that's all over the plate. She turns on it nicely, gets a little bit too much air to get it out of the park, but she banks it off the fence, and as you said, unfortunately, the runners had to hold, so she gets a long single. But she'll take it.
Sinaraki at third, leading the pack. Here's a shot just foul by Fox. That would have scored 2. But it evades the bag, and it's 0-1 as Aycock is playing with fire here.
Fox, another one of the upperclassmen for the Hatters, who has a lot of experience in batting from that left side. She has good speed. And I think they've been working with all of the lefties on getting a little bit more of a true swing and putting the ball in the gaps.
0-1 is low, ball 1. Hatters had just 47 hits through their first 9 games. It's less than a hit per inning. They've got 5 hits here with 1 out in the bottom of the first against Kyra Aycock, as you see, just threw her 30th pitch of the inning. 1-1, that's queued up the middle, base hit into center field. Sinaraki's in. Here comes McLaren. It's a 2-run single for Haley Fox, and the Hatters have a 4 spot with potentially more to come here in the first.
Haley does a great job of just not trying to do too much. She turns on this pitch, drives it right up the middle. Just it's a nice low inside pitch. She gets her bat head down, drives it right up past the second baseman, who was having to cheat in because you have the runners at third. Gets a clean single and allows the runners to go around the merry-go-round.
Does Kevin Gajewski have to think about a pitching change sooner than later here? He's got action in the Oklahoma State bullpen.
I would think you'd have to at least look at it.
Ivy Rosenberry is warming up for the Cowgirls.
Just a little too much solid contact off of Aycock to leave her in there for very long.
Here's Jordan Stanfill, the Hatter catcher.
Not that the Cowgirls don't have a lot of firepower of their own, but you don't want to have to dig your hole too deep.
Fox goes and they just let her have the bag rather than give DePuma the chance to come in and score on the delayed double steal, which is exactly how Oklahoma State got their run.
Absolutely.
In the first inning.
Just a little catcher's indifference and that runner going to second.
So now second and third with 1 out. 0-1 to Stanfill, tipped foul. Jordan's got some serious natural power. She has 10 home runs in her career. She's just struck out a little bit too much over the course of her career.
Yeah, I think she looks much better this season. I think in the past, I think she's just been a little too choosy at the plate.
Just missed for Aycock there, 1 and 2.
So the limited number of games I've seen this year, I've seen her just be a little bit more aggressive at the plate, and I think that's helping her numbers.
One-two to Aycock. From Aycock to Stanfield is outside.
You were talking about the Hatter offense this year. Coming in the last couple of years, offense have definitely been anemic. They've relied heavily on.
Getting one away.
Good solid contact by Workler right at Addison Foster, who does a good job of just gloving it cleanly and getting it out of her glove over to first for Marissa Baxter to complete the out.
Work seemed to knew she was done a couple of steps out of the box there.
No disrespect, but I don't think she beats a lot of those ground balls to the shortstop out.
No, she is a power hitter, first and foremost. Here's Rosie Davis. Davis, another hitter with some seriously impressive high school numbers. They're not quite as insane as Godwin's, but she did hit .531 for her career and was all-state in both softball and basketball.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the story up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
Whether it be gaudy numbers from high school or gaudy numbers from a transfer situation.
And that's a gaudy smash out to center field. No doubter for Rosie Davis.
Rosie catches all of this one. Definitely a pitch that Hobbs would like to have back. She catches way too much of the plate on this. Rosie centers that one up and sends it out in a hurry.
Off to a torrid start to her college career. Second home run for Rosie Davis, who is now 11 of 24 to begin her time as a Cowgirl, and the lead is cut to 4-2.
Just like that.
That is dead center.
Yeah, I don't think the Cowgirls are slumping their heads and feeling sorry for themselves over there.
There's Schneidmiller, the catcher. Good pitch, catching the outside corner for a strike. Schneidmiller hit .270 across 25 games last year, getting a little more run. Wong is a catcher by trade, but she's in right field tonight. Will also play some DP, and Schneidmiller, probably the better defensive option back there, is going to get a lot of opportunity. It's 0-2 here as Hobbs has had her off speed working today. 0-2. That one's outside.
For all you young athletes out there, the more positions you can play, the more opportunities you have to be in the game, and the better choices the coaching staff has for getting a solid lineup in. If you come in and you say, I just play one position, then that certainly limits not only your opportunities, but the team.
Though if that position is catcher, you probably have a leg up.
Well, catcher and pitcher are generally a little more specialized, but as a former coach, I love catchers that can do something else.
Yep.
I love pitchers that can do something else. Some of our best seasons were when we had pitchers that also played positions and hit for themselves.
Gives you so much more flexibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Lexi Kilfoyle, the Oklahoma State ace, will hit on occasion. So 1-2 to Schneidmiller. That one hit in the air to right, towards the wall, and Fox runs it down. All that speed out there coming in handy. And a loud second out for Schneidmiller and the Cowgirls.
Yeah, Schneidmiller does a great job of going with this outside pitch. You'll see it. It's about belt high, but outside she does a great job of going with it. Fox just outruns it to the warning track and is able to haul it in.
Number 2, Sophie Page.
Here's Sophie Page. Transfer from UAB. It's the first pitch in the air, shallow left center, out for the shortstop, Foster, to make the catch, and that retires the side. So a run on one hit, it was a loud one. Rosie Davis, freshman sensation with her second career home run. Hatters 4, most of it in Florida. Though, unfortunately, we've had pretty cold weather this winter relative to normal.
We've actually had a semi-winter.
Sort of a fall.
fall for the rest of the country.
I always say
Winter for us.
there's 2 seasons in Florida. There's summer, which goes from October to April, and then hotter summer, which goes from May to September. Stetson bats have been hot to start this one. A 4 spot in the bottom of the first. They hit a round. It'll be Foster, Epley, and Freeman once again to start the second. Foster singled, stole a base, and scored the first run of the game on the Epley home run.
So the Hatters getting their second look at Aycock.
And she just barely survived through over 40 pitches in that first inning. Gave up 5 hits, 6 hits in fact. Had second and third with 1 out, and it looked like she wasn't going to escape it, but got 2 huge outs to limit the damage, keep Oklahoma State in the game. This one up the middle, Foster's 2 for 2.
Yeah, I imagine Aycock got a bit of work in the bullpen between innings over there to work some wrinkles out. Foster does Foster things here and is able to hit that ball up the middle. Davis unable to corral it off the tip of her bat over behind second base to get the single. So again, the Hatters have leadoff batter on and good speed.
And you've got Epley back up at the plate, now hitting .440 with a home run and 7 RBI through 10 games. First pitch down and away from Aycock for ball 1.
Last go around, Epley showed bunt early and even fouled one off, and then came back swinging late. And of course, Foster was able to steal second during that at bat.
Epley cues this one foul, 1-1. Hatters made a couple of statements last year, wins over South Carolina and Georgia.
Both on the road. On
the road, yes. They trying to knock off one of these marquee opponents at home. They were so close earlier today against Washington. Falling 2-1. Just couldn't get enough offense. They've got offense here tonight.
Yep. Gotta love Coach Cousins scheduling some big teams early.
Yeah. Well, and the Washington game came about in the last 72 hours.
Yes.
There were so many rainouts over the weekend, and Washington was looking for a game, and the Hatters obliged. Ground ball to short, they'll go for the lead runner, and the ball's into right field. Foster being waved around third, the ball's going all the way to the wall. Foster is in, Epley to third. Defensive catastrophe for the Cowgirls. The Hatters tack on another run.
Yeah. The Hatters are able to take advantage of this miscue. They decided to try to go for 2 and missed the relay at second and ended up going out into right field. And the Cowgirls' right fielder was over backing up the potential throw to first. So let the ball roll all the way to the fence. So then Addison was able to score from first base. We're fortunate that Cammie was not able to score as well with her speed.
So it should go down as a fielder's choice and an E6 to put Epley at third with nobody out and Foster in with the 5th run. That one very unearned on poor Kyra Aycock.
Correct.
Now Freeman comes up and takes outside for ball 1. Freeman singled and was run for in the first inning. Hatters have been screaming for a power bat like hers for a couple of years now. And
I think bringing that in the transfer portal, that kind of becomes contagious. And you
that
see
one up the middle, base hit, 6-2. Now Freeman not trying to do too much there, just lines it right back up the gut. And the Hatters have tacked on 2 more. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the second.
You know, the old adage that hitting is contagious. Late does a good job here, just taking that low middle pitch right up the middle. But once you see your teammates start having success and hearing the ball come off the bat smoothly and with some pop, you start believing that you can do that too.
Something of a coming out party for the Hatters here. 6 runs in an inning plus against Aycock. As Baxter fouls off the first pitch. She'd like to participate in this fun.
Absolutely.
She struck out looking in the first inning.
She got caught looking at a good off-speed pitch or in the first inning, kind of low and out. See if she looks to push something up the middle this time.
Gets a piece of this one. Slow roller that Edwards can't glove cleanly, and everybody's safe.
That's not something you're going to see every day. Miss Edwards is not going to misplay that ball, but I think she just pulled her head up before she got the ball in the glove, and as we said, the ball's sticking down a little bit tonight. she pulls up thinking she's got that easy play.
Is Oklahoma State pressing a little bit here? Kind of got punched in the mouth there by the Hatters a little bit.
They did get a little bit, and I think maybe they're just trying to make that extra play as opposed to staying settled. Same with Davis making that throw to second. Just trying to get that little bit extra on there. Sometimes that does a little bit to your timing.
Here's McLaren, who had, I like you called it an excuse me single. Came around to score on the Fox base knock in the first inning.
Great, we'll take it any way we can get it. As a batter. Of course,
First and second, still nobody out. And from what we can see, the Cowgirl bullpen is quiet.
Yeah, I think there's somebody in the far bullpen. You can see the ball popping up over the dugout every now and then.
Had to imagine there was someone in there. Yeah, well, our vantage point, we are blocked by the Oklahoma State dugout. 1-0. That's off the leg of Schneidmiller, and the runners advance on the wild pitch.
Annabella shows bunt there and then pulls back, and I think it just kind of handcuffed catcher a little bit. Gets off her shin guard, bounces over to the backstop. She fortunately gets a good carom off the backstop.
This is so uncharacteristic from Oklahoma State. They'd only made 5 errors in their first 9 games. 2 in this inning, and the wild pitch, and there's a strike to McLaren to make it 2-1.
These midweek games are always an adventure.
They're going to call that a pass ball by Schneidmiller officially.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Being a former catcher, she just got tied up a little bit. She drops her left knee down on that inside pitch and just handcuffed her a little bit. She couldn't get her mitt down low enough as that screwball just kept tracing in.
2-2 to Annabella McLaren, and she gets a piece to stay alive.
I would imagine both bullpens would stay busy pretty much all night with just some pitchers getting some work in, because you're going to miss a practice day this week, so you want to get at least some long toss or some spin work in.
McLaren's worked the count full.
It looks like Coach Gajewski and his staff are giving Aycock an opportunity to work out some problems and spend some time on the mound. And sometimes that's the best thing for you, especially early in the season.
3-2 is smashed, but foul down the left side off the wall.
You know, the last thing you want to do as a coaching staff is instill fear in your pitcher that, they have a little bit of a rough outing and you're just going to yank them, especially when you're playing a non-ranked opponent. So sometimes, give them an opportunity to work out of some trouble, work through some problems will pay off for you down the road.
Another payoff pitch to McLaren. Swing and a miss. Well, that's a good start towards working it out for Aycock as she goes off speed to strike out AB. And there's one away in the second.
Good off speed. It looks like it tails a little bit out, which adds to the problems for McLaren as she tries to pull that pitch. DePuma had a nice contact last time. She ended up with that single off the left center field fence.
That was a huge, very loud
Single.
move 'em up single. It was a few feet from being a home run.
Yeah, I think both the outfielders started looking to find the fence, thinking it might very well be over the fence.
But DePuma, 2 for her last 2 going back to the Washington game after starting her Hatter career 0 for 13. Stetson's going to need her bat, another one of these portal additions that Shelly Cousins has gone out and gotten along with her staff. 1-1. Rounds it off her own leg.
Good screwball by Aycock there. Starting to jam the Hatters a little bit more, not allowing them to get extended as much as they were in the top part of the lineup in the first time through.
One, 2 to DePuma. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Aycock. And the Hatters, yeah, they've got 6 runs, and they're certainly not going to hang their heads, but at second and third, 1 out in the first and didn't add more, and now in danger of losing second and third and no outs here in the second.
Yeah, that's certainly not something that you want to look back at your scorebook and say that you got 2 runners in scoring position and we're unproductive.
And listen, take nothing away from Lauren Hobbs or any of the Hatter pitchers, but no lead is safe against a team like this.
Absolutely. As we were talking about before, they have crazy video game numbers up and down the lineup. No lead is safe.
Fox had the huge 2-run single in the first inning. Fouls this one off, and Aycock quickly ahead 0-2. Starting to settle down, but nearing 70 pitches with 2 out in the second. Hatters have certainly made her work for it.
Absolutely.
The 2 runs at present are unearned, and now anything that comes in this inning would be unearned with the 2 outs on the board. 0-2, cute foul.
Fox did a good job of covering that outside part of the plate. She's got 2 strikes, so she's looking to cover pretty much anything close. You don't want to leave it in the hands of the umpire.
Got some fans jammed in over there on the far side near the Oklahoma State dugout that caught a bit of a jump scare from that one. 0-2 pitch. Ground ball, Edwards sure-handed this time, and the inning is over. So the Hatters do strand a pair in scoring position with no out. But before that, they get 2 runs. Epley, the error, and then Laith Freeman with an RBI single. 6-2 Hats, end of 2. Oklahoma and all over the country, really, when you look at the Oklahoma State roster.
Absolutely. A great showing at Patricia Wilson Field for this midweek well, it turned out to be a doubleheader.
Yeah, we didn't expect it to be.
Single game versus Oklahoma State. They actually had the game versus Washington earlier today. They cleared the stadium out and then reloaded for this nightcap.
I'm certain Scotland David has some family in attendance. She's from Ponte Vedra, Florida. 9-hitter for the Cowgirls. She puts one right back up the middle, and Hobbs fields her position well. There's 1 out.
Yeah, Scotland was a little out in front of this. She had that little cue ball shot back to Hobbs, and Hobbs did a great job because this one took a little kind of side hop right as it got back to the mound. She stayed down and fielded her position well.
Returning to the top of the lineup for the third baseman, Talon Edwards.
Only 2 Florida natives on the Oklahoma State roster. The other is their ace, Lexi Kilfoyle from Land O'Lakes. Here's Edwards, who is Oklahoma born and raised. She takes an off-speed pitch for strike, has one of the 2 hits for Oklahoma State tonight and scored.
A loud hit.
She is some player, now hitting 500 to start the year, 13 for 26.
The ever dangerous Talon Edwards.
11 runs scored. She hits this one in the air to right. That'll chase Fox back, and it zips over the fence for a home run. Edwards continues her scorching start to 2024. And again, the Cowgirls get a little bit back at 6-3.
Yeah, Talon does a good job. Hobbs leaves this one again a little bit meaty. Talon has a nice, easy swing. It's such a nice, effortless swing. Just it gets extended and just trails out to right field. You see Haley take off, but not much chance for her.
That was a bullet. That got out of here in a hurry.
She had
Third home run of the year.
Great contact in her first at bat, and then she followed up with a little bit more in her second.
Second home run off of Hobbs tonight for Oklahoma State. And that one rocketed up the middle by Tim, but straight at Epley, who makes the catch on a line for the second out.
And again, great solid contact by Timms. She gets an outside pitch, and again about belt high. Was able to line that out just right at Epley, who has good speed but didn't have to use it that time.
Nope. Here's Godwin, who struck out swinging, fooled badly by an off-speed pitcher first time. She has huge power.
I think there's obviously multiple players on this Oklahoma State team with huge power.
You got Edwards for 3 more years, Godwin for 4. Kenny Gajewski is playing with a loaded deck.
That's what top 10 teams do. You know, they go out and they get big players with big talent.
Ground ball to second, and it looked like DePuma was a little slow to react to that one. By the time she got down, it was too late. It'll be a base hit for Godwin.
Looks like she just misread it off the bat. Maybe it came off the tip of the bat a little bit. Kind of took a little hop at the end, but she was playing it to come a little more true, and it skipped off to the side of her. But she's fully accepting that. You see her raise her hand to her outfield and poke to her chest when she turns to her teammate Lauren Hobbs. She believes she should have had that all day.
Shelly Cousins is going to make a pitching change here with Godwin on first and 2 out in the top of the 3rd. Koziski misses up and away for ball 1. Wong, the former A-Sun Player of the Year at Liberty, now donning Oklahoma State orange. The 1-0. That is popped foul.
Just think of all the, I guess, just all the experience she's had to draw off of between Dot Richardson and now Kenny Gajewski.
Yeah, seriously.
And some of her teammates as well at Oklahoma State. Just the wealth of knowledge and experience that you're able to draw on between those two programs.
1-1 off speed, floats in for a strike. Liberty no longer in the A-Sun. She played the final year of Liberty's 6-year stint in the conference. They have, of course, followed their football team to Conference USA.
Another one of the many multitudes of conference changes.
Yeah, well, Oklahoma State's right in the middle of that. They're not moving, but the teams around them certainly are. And in the world of college softball, we'll talk about this a little more later, but the apex predator is Oklahoma, who will be moving to the SEC after this season, the final year of Bedlam. It was amazing to me that they're just going to end that football game after decades and decades. Keep playing it. Why not? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm nobody in the world of, you know, figuring out the NCAA and all the conference changes, but just throwing the tradition of a lot of things right out the window, all for the sake of the mighty dollar. And of course, you're going to make it in one aspect, but you're going to spend it in another aspect with the travel these teams have to go
For
through.
sure. 3-2, bounce down to 3rd, and a good play by Napoli to get Wong and retire the side. So good job, Wilson Field. The offenses have been red hot, though. We've had a run in every half inning so far. Hatters up 6-3. Ivy Rosenberry, she might have needed another warm-up pitch, as that one stuck in her hand a little bit too long. First pitch of the night for her after Kyra Aycock went 2 innings, allowed 4 runs earned, 6 total on 8 hits. She had 3 strikeouts, didn't walk a batter, but she fell at the end of the 2nd inning on the final play. We don't know if she was removed because of that or just because Kenny Gajewski wanted to make a change, but either way, Rosenberry into the game. Been dominant so far this year, just 1 earned run allowed in 13 innings pitched.
Yeah, you're certainly hoping there's no injury there, and it's just time for a change.
Stanfill, swing and a miss. Rosenberry threw 37 innings last year with a 3.41 ERA. She played her first 2 years at Virginia Tech. Talking about the travel, Oklahoma State will be back in Orlando quite a bit over the next several years, as UCF has joined them in the conference. And as of next year, they're going to have conference mates as wide as Arizona State in the Southwest. Cincinnati, BYU are there in the Big 12 now. It's national conferences is really what it is.
Exactly. I mean, and you would think they'd just rename them all. I mean, you have the Southeast
None of them
Conference,
have the well, the Southeast Conference is still mostly Southeast. It's you got.
Can you really? I mean, Southeast is.
You got a couple of Texas teams, Oklahoma and Mizzou. Everybody else is pretty much there. Stanfill strikes out, swinging for the first out. But yeah, the Big 10 has, I think, 18 teams. The Big 12 will have 16.
The Big dozen and a half.
The Atlantic Coast Conference is going to have 2 teams in California.
Just throw the names out.
That's my favorite one.
Just throw the names out and start all over. And of course, with all the NIL money, you know, all of that's going to redistribute all over again. You're probably going to have some of those big power schools kind of divide off and make their own conference.
Oh, sure.
Their own company,
yeah,
in essence.
Lots of further maneuvering to be done. And I mean, look at the situation that happened this year with Florida State.
Yeah.
Being left out of the playoff at 12-0, 13-0, and they had to trying to get out of the ACC. So it's not done yet. But Stetson, they've been in the A-Sun since 1985, and they've seen a lot of different teams come and go in that time. They are by far the longest tenured member of the conference. And the Hatters do quite nicely with their lot in life down here in the land. Basketball teams on both the men's and women's sides in the top 2 in their leagues at the moment. Baseball, a really exciting team this year. And Shelly Cousins has improved her win total significantly each of her first 3 seasons.
Yeah. And I think that's
here
going
in
to
the land.
It's going to continue to be the trend. I think they're doing a lot of things well. We got a good young coaching staff. They're going to continue to learn and grow.
This one from Napoli is foul.
Rosenberry's come in and done a really good job. She's, as a righty, she's coming in on these lefties hard. She appears to have a good drop ball. So she's working in and then down. Certainly giving him a much different look than Aycock had.
2-2 is down and away. So back-to-back full counts, though, as Stanfield and Napoli have worked the count a little bit, but Gia was way too late to recognize that that one was bending back over the plate. And back-to-back strikeouts to start for Rosenberry.
Good start for Rosenberry. She's staying right around the plate. She's not outside of that first pitch that went to the backstop. Everything's been right around the dish and forcing the Hatter batters to honor her ability to throw strikes.
Back to the top, it's Foster, who has a couple of hits so far, has scored a couple of runs, takes a strike.
I think that command, along with the fact that Rosenberry is bringing a little bit more speed to the mound, it's going to take a little adjustment for the Hatters.
0-1, that tipped off the bat. Looked like it caught the handle.
That was a self-defense attempt by Foster there to
Unfortunate there for Addison to take a strike.
to not wear that one.
The 0-2, down and away. How big would it be for Oklahoma State to just put up a 0 here and not have to be digging out of a deeper hole each half inning?
I mean, certainly you want to stop the bleeding at some point. It's difficult as an offense to think that you've got to catch up when you're giving up multiple runs each inning. They've put up a run each inning, but when you're allowing the team to have multiple, that's a
the math doesn't quite add up there, does it?
That's not a winning combination. So if you can come out here and Rosenberry can put up a 0, that gives you a fighting chance going forward.
1-2. That's hit up the middle. Was that caught in the air? No signal yet. It tipped off of Rosenberry.
Gajewski's going to ask.
I think that was caught in the air, Vanessa, by Rosie Davis. For now, Foster's on first base. We never really saw a signal either way. Yeah. It looks like they're going to give her the hit. Let's watch this.
I thought in real time that it short hopped her, but I've been wrong several times today. Yeah, I think it's short hopped. I think it's short hops.
Hold on, let's see.
I think it's short hops her right here.
Oh, you're right. Now this is why you've been doing this for.
But what a great play. Be able to lay out.
She fooled me.
Get the short hop.
So Foster's 3 for 3, and it won't amount to much as Epley grounds out to Davis on the next play. And caught stealing. Grounded to shortstop in her official plate appearance at the start of the second. A 1 from Kulsiski. That catches the hands, jammed Wark a little bit. It's 0-2.
Good pitch by Kulsiski. Working both sides of the plate so far well in this game.
It seems like Shelly Cousins has had an emphasis on recruiting pitchers who don't walk a lot of batters, throw a lot of strikes.
Well, I think that's an emphasis for most college coaches. You want somebody, I saw a meme the other day. I don't care how hard you throw you throw ball 4.
Yes.
That was doesn't do you any good.
The Nationals, the Washington Nationals, have that all over their spring training facility.
I don't care how hard you throw if you can't throw it over the plate. I don't care, how much spin you have on the ball if it doesn't ever cross the white.
Well, I mean more that sometimes you'll go after the big arm even if they're not entirely sure where it's going because they can get a ton of strikeouts. And it seems like the Hatters have really focused on getting pitchers rather than throwers into their program.
Exactly, and getting more athletic pitchers, I think, as well. So that not only you're pitching well, but you're playing your position, but athletes that have good kinesthetic awareness so they can learn new things. I know when I had the privilege of working with the pitchers, just being able to talk to them and then be aware of what their body was doing, what their mechanics were, and being able to make adjustments, I think that's huge. And I think in all your...
Oh, that's a shot out to center. It'll stay in the yard, though. Epley getting under it, makes the catch for the first out.
I think all your premier pitchers for sure, but certainly pitchers that you're going to see that continue to improve even after they get to college are pitchers that not only are aware of their body and what they're doing, but that are willing to work hard and make adjustments.
Kolziski really forced to improve to get more opportunities. Off to a good start here. Here she faces Davis, who hit a monster home run to center in her first appearance of the day. This young core of Edwards, Godwin, Wark, and Davis, all freshmen and sophomores for Kenny Gajewski.
Yeah, they've come in and just made their mark right off the bat, and of course they're able to benefit from some of these upperclassmen, some that have both played under Gajewski for a while, but also some of the ones that have transferred in with all their wealth of experience.
Yeah, you look at Wong, for example.
Yeah, you know, you've got kids transferring in from Virginia Tech and Kansas and Alabama and some of these big programs that have big-time coaches and big-time, you know, I guess, facilities.
Yeah.
That are, you know, afford them the opportunity to see a lot of different things. It's just a wealth of knowledge for these players to grow not only from their coaching staff but from each other.
Davis jammed. That's an easy one at first for Baxter. It's a great pitch by Kolziski, and there's two out.
I mean, one of the lesser known things is there are limits to the amount of time that coaching staffs can spend with their players. The NCAA places limits on that so that they can be student athletes. However, you as an athlete can spend enormous amounts of time on your strength, on your conditioning, on your hitting skills in a cage, on the mound in a bullpen, fielding.
We did not spend an enormous amount of time in this fourth inning.
We did not.
Caitlin Kolziski with a 8-pitch, 1-2-3 top of the order. Freeman, Baxter, McLaren here in the bottom of the fourth. Evan West and Vanessa Bataille with you from Patricia Wilson Field. Beautiful night for it. And a real upset brewing here in the early going. Oklahoma State, the number 8 team in the country, has been shell-shocked a little bit by Stetson. They're looking for Rosenberry to keep settling this down, give them a chance to come back, as Freeman, who is 2 for 2, finds herself behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, the Hatters had a good warm-up with the University of Washington in the earlier game today, and it came out swinging versus the Cowgirls in the first couple of innings and were able to put up a 6 spot.
Little tapper up the middle, Rosenberry there, a low throw, but so low that it actually bounced pretty nicely up to first base for Godwin, and there's one out.
Yeah, just a little kind of check swing back to the pitcher, who kind of just spikes it over to first base, and first baseman was able to track it in.
She has a sense of humor about it, at least. I think probably because it still got the out.
Yeah, she gave her first baseman a little bit of a scare over there. You never really know what you're going to get when the pitcher winds up to throw to first.
They can be so accurate throwing to the plate.
Absolutely.
Here's Baxter, 0 for 2, struck out and reached on an error. She takes a strike.
That's where the athlete that we were talking about in the last inning comes into play. When you have kids these days, they start playing travel ball, they start playing one sport so early in their career. So some of these pitchers have done primarily underhand throwing for so many years that's what's natural to them. So when they turn and they get excited and they start throwing overhand, the mechanics are so different, the timing seems different to them. It should be the same step throw, but it's such a different angle that sometimes they
well, your
get a little
arm's
bit
doing so many different things.
They get a little bit of the yips, and they start thinking of all the things that could go wrong. Fortunately, our first baseman was able to corral it and get the out at first.
Rosenberry bounces the 1-2. Baxter fighting her way back even.
We did have a pitcher one year that we just told her to pitch it to first. Just pitch it. Because who knows where it was going. It was going.
Did it work?
It did. It did.
Well, there you go.
Providing
then.
she had time. But, you know, if she picked it up and just tried to fire like on a bunt, it may go into right, it may go over the fence. Who knows?
Baxter tips that one to the mid for the second out. So did she do the full windup?
She did kind of like a slingshot.
Okay.
But it was
Rosenberry doing a nice job
Rosenberry
here.
doing a great job. She's working inside, outside. Like I said, a little bit of a drop. I haven't seen much of an off speed yet. She doesn't need it. She's kind of she's got a little bit more pep on her pitch than Aycock was bringing to the plate. So it's a nice change.
Yeah, some giddy up, to use a cowgirl
so to speak.
expression.
Absolutely. I think the Hatters had those big swings going early, and they're having to be challenged to cut down their swing. And
that one rides up inside, and McLaren jumping out of the way, 1-1.
there you see the inside pitch. She's going to get them jumping a little bit inside, throw that curve back outside.
I was going to say, that gets you thinking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Get you a little
That's a nice,
light in your boots, so to
That's a nice bruise on your ankle for a few weeks. 1-1. That's way outside. Yeah, she is throwing darts, though.
She is. She's got great pep on the ball. I'd love to get a little closer, see how tight her spin is. I imagine it's beautiful.
Certainly looks it from here. 2-1 to McLaren's. The Hatters try to extend this cushion. McLaren doing a good job.
Not missing by much there. But again, McLaren, she's one of the two Hatter hitters with the really great eye at the plate.
McLaren 1 out of 2 with a run. Takes on the inside corner there. She thought she had ball 4. The count is full.
It's that low pitch. I believe it's a drop that she's throwing. I can't really see the release through my vantage point.
Payoff pitch. Strike 3 called. Rosenberry comes back to strike out McLaren. Had a 1-2-3 fourth. She's retired all 4 batters she's faced. Paige, David, and then Talon Edwards due up for Oklahoma State. We got a pinch hitter for Sophie Page here. The bunt laid down. This is Tia Warsop, freshman from, get this, Northampton, England.
Ooh.
Producing a softball player. I did not know that the game had caught on over there.
Softball is growing everywhere.
That is awesome.
We had a game last weekend with a player from Peru. But it's growing leaps and bounds everywhere. I think the Olympics has helped with that. Now that it's back in the Olympics, it's going to continue to grow.
Foul back to the screen by Warsop. I do a lot of soccer, so you see lots of different countries, but it's great to see that pop up in a more quintessentially American sport like softball. That is such a great game. Warsop for the season 1 for 5. Has appeared in all but 2 games, either on defense or as a pinch hitter. 0-2. Taps this one down. This is a tough one for Napoli, and it's going to go down as a hit for Warsop. You couldn't place that ball any better. Tough luck for Kolziski for her first base runner.
Kolziski made a good pitch. She's blowing outside. Warsop just put the tip of the bat on it, and it trickled right down the third baseline and stayed fair.
She almost deadened it.
Yeah. Almost like a bunt.
It came off her bat exactly like a bunt.
Like almost like a push bunt.
Here's David, who grounded to the pitcher her first time, and now Edwards looming on deck as the potential tying run if David can get aboard here.
Of course, you could see from Warsop on her run to first that she's got good speed at first base, and the Hatters have to be on their toes to be sure of an out.
Absolutely a threat to run.
She didn't spend much time in one place on her way down there. I don't think she'll spend much time at first.
(1-0) to Scotland David on the way from Kolziski. That is just off the corner for ball 2. A couple of close ones there.
I didn't miss by much. I know Stanfield's doing her best to get a good jump out from behind the plate. I wonder if that's blocking the umpire a little bit on that outside. (2-0) to David.
pops the bunt foul.
Fortunately for her, it goes to the fence. One of the last things you want to do as in a sacrifice situation is hit the ball up. When the ball goes down directly off the bat, your teammate, the runner on base, can break immediately, so you potentially have to offer 2 bases. But certainly the first, when the ball goes up, everybody has to freeze offensively.
2-1. And that one, which looked actually a little more outside than ball 2, is called a strike. So it all evens out for Kolziski, and it's 2-2.
So that screwball she was throwing on the outside finally caught enough of the white for the umpire to call it a strike for her.
2-2 coming from Caitlin. Struck her out. Big first out for Kolziski as Edwards comes to the plate with 1 away.
Did a great job by Caitlin here to keep working that outside corner. She was able to freeze the batter, get a little out front.
It's the second Hatter strikeout of the game, first for Kolziski. And now Edwards, who's 2 for 2 with a home run, 2 runs scored of the 3 for the Cowgirls tonight.
This will be a big test for Kolziski here with the smooth swing of Edwards.
She gets the corner again for strike 1.
And the more she can work right around the plate and establish herself, the more calls she'll get. The more the batters will have to honor those corners.
So she's an east-west pitcher.
Primarily.
Wants to paint
Correct.
those corners.
Correct.
Oh, 1 to Edwards. That one is off the plate, ball on a strike. Warsop still over there at first.
Of course, with the firepower she has coming up, you're looking to basically, ideally you'd like to strike somebody out, but get a miss hit here and there, and something that your defense can help you out.
This feels like a big moment in this game with Rosenberry having settled things down on the other side.
I'd say this inning is big for the Hatters.
1-1. Edwards takes right down the middle for strike 2. Looked like she didn't get what she was expecting there.
No, I think she was expecting another screwball, and she got a curveball that probably had a little bit too much of the plate, but was down in the zone.
So Kolziski gets ahead of Talon Edwards. Edwards has only struck out 3 times this season. Hits one in the air to Baxter, double play! Marissa Baxter makes the catch, taps the bag with Warsop diving back. Exactly what the Hatters needed as Edwards lines out into 2 to end the inning.
What a great job by Kolziski. She ties up Edwards. She hits the weak line drive right at Marissa, and she's able to grab the bag for the 3rd out.
Offense has gone quiet against Caitlin Kolziski of the Hatters, and thus Stetson's lead remains at 3.
Yeah,
Sophie Page is back out at second base for Oklahoma State as Michelle DePuma comes up, fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. Sorry, Vanessa.
So far, both pitching changes have paid off for the defenses. Rosenberry's certainly quieted the Hatters' bats, but equally, Kolziski has done that for.
That was an aggressive change from Shelly Cousins, and it really has paid off, giving Kolziski this opportunity. I mean, and no matter how it ends up going by the end of the night, what a great learning experience for her. But you get her out of here with the win on her belt. I mean, what a confidence booster for your number 3 pitcher.
Absolutely, and the Hatters need her going forward. You can't just ride 2 arms in this level of play. If you had 2 dominant arms, perhaps you can, and not to take anything away from
I was going to say,
Marine.
You're getting close to that label there with Hannah Marine especially.
They're excellent pitchers. However, they're not going to just blow it by everybody.
Right.
So they're going to have some days where the other team runs into the ball a little bit more than others, especially if you have those umpires that call a little bit more strict than others. So you need a good 3rd option, if not a good 3rd and 4th option. And I think Kolziski gives them a little bit of a different look. She is mostly east-west, but it's definitely a different look even than Hannah.
Hatters have a couple of really promising freshman arms on the roster as well, with Caitlin Mullen and Victoria Ash, both of whom have already gotten into games. So it's a deeper pitching staff than they've had maybe in recent years.
Agreed. And I think that's part of the recruiting emphasis has been to get, more mound presence, especially while you have the other two up in Marine and Hobbs for them to throw after.
Talk about mound presence. Rosenberry is dealing her 5th strikeout in 2 1/3 innings. And DePuma is down for the first out.
Yeah, you look at the scoreboard, and of course the Hatters are up 6-3. However, nothing has gone up since Roseberry's gone in.
8 of the 13 Hatter outs have actually been strikeouts today. When it's gone into the field of play, it has generally been good for Stetson. Fox has maybe the game's biggest hit, that 2-run single in the bottom of the first that made it 4-1. And right now stands as the game-winning hit. She grounded to third her second time up.
I think, as we talked about earlier, you just need somebody on your team to be able to step up and shorten their swing a little bit and poke something through so that you, again, see this hitter's pitch is hittable.
Fox trying to slap one. It bounces onto herself for a foul ball.
So maybe just do a little bit less at the plate. Just focus on being smooth and getting your bat head through the zone and let the pitcher do the work for you.
1-1 to Fox. There's a bunt. It's rolling just foul.
Almost beautiful.
That very nearly stayed on the chalk. It just barely rolled across.
I thought maybe for a second it was going to die right on it.
Yep.
But it took that little extra unfortunate roll for Haley, fortunate roll for Rosenberry. And it just ended up to the right of the foul line.
So it's 1-2 to Fox, and she gets another slight piece of the softball. We'll do it again.
Remember Jose Vasquez, the really short Venezuelan guy? I heard he got cut from right.
So it's 1-2.
Yeah, he got cut.
Here's the pitch. And Fox, I think she's been touched by 3 of these foul balls on this plate appearance.
She's definitely wearing the ball. She's doing a good job of defending her plate. She's getting them off the handle a little bit, and they're hitting down in that batter's box, bouncing up off of her. But she'd much rather that than a swing and miss.
There's another foul ball cued off to the left-hand side.
She'll take foul balls all day until she gets something she can handle.
Make Rosenberry work a little bit.
Absolutely. That's good not only for her, but for the batters behind her. Force the pitcher to throw some pitches, maybe have to come in a little bit more on the plate.
1-2 again, and another foul ball for Fox. Stetson with 6 outs still to get, and while Edwards lined into the double play, you still have to deal with the rest of the heart of the Cowgirl order at least one more time.
The melee that is the rest of the order.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't get a whole lot easier
Kinda like murderer's row.
once Edwards is done. I mean, you look at any lineup on a program of this caliber, and it's going to look like that. Oklahoma State is going to bash many a team this spring.
Absolutely.
So far, Stetson has held them in check.
I imagine they'll run rule quite a few teams.
Yes.
Especially rolling into conference.
I should think so.
Get a little tougher for them after that, but
they have played an incredibly aggressive non-conference schedule. This was supposed to be kind of a layup for them after playing all those big-time power conference teams in the tournaments, and it has been anything but, as the Hatters have completely jumped on Oklahoma State.
the Hatters have had an impressive day. They've really stepped up to the level of competition that they're playing. And that's both a good sign and a bad sign as a coach.
Fox finally goes down swinging on the 9th pitch of the at-bat. 4 straight strikeouts for Rosenberry in this 2 away, but she had to earn that one.
Yeah, so Fox goes down swinging, but it was a good at-bat. She has to go in the dugout feeling pretty good about that. She did get handcuffed at the end there, but she saw a lot of pitches, was able to put the bat on some. Just didn't work out at the end.
That strikeout pitch was nasty as well. Here's Stanfield, who struck out against Rosenberry in the 3rd inning. Takes one a little, Rosenberry took a little off that one. It misses outside. She's mostly throwing the hard stuff to great success. Hatters aren't going to see many pitchers with this kind of velocity all season.
maybe the UF game next month.
That was no problem for Oklahoma State on Monday. They beat them 3-0.
But that's their speed.
Yeah.
That's what they take batting practice off.
Lexi Kilfoyle was incredible against the Gators the other night. Thought we might see her tonight, but you know, the Hatters get to go against some of the depth arms for the Cowgirls. Not that that's a whole lot easier.
They're no slouches.
Certainly not.
And of course, you got to figure Kilfoyle with her experience going into UF.
She's faced the Gators plenty of times too. Spent 3 years at Alabama.
Not only is she not a stranger to that complex, but not a stranger to that team that she's facing in the majority of that lineup.
2-2 slash foul. Another good at bat here from a Stetson batter. All three of them in this inning have put together strong ABs against Rosenberry. Let's see if they can get one to go their way this time.
You're seeing that the Hatters are getting the message that they have to kind of cut back on that bigger swing they were using in the early part of the game. They're just swinging for contact here.
2-2, lines into left field. That's a base hit, and it gets by Tim and goes all the way to the wall. Stanfill in at second with a stand-up double. And Jordan Stanfill continues to make her mark in the early going this season.
What a great start to her senior year. She does a good job here of not over-swinging. She gets a pitch that is on the plate itself. Rosenberry's done a great job of picking the inside and the outside. She gets a little bit over the plate here, and Stanfield's able to rip that into left center. Gets herself a double.
They're going to run for Stanfield here, as expected. Brianna Robinson, senior from Ocala, and a longtime utility player for the Hatters, will come in.
For Jordan Stanfield, number 22, Brianna Robinson.
Napoli to the plate has flown to left and struck out looking. The latter against Rosenberry. Try to tack on an insurance run here for Stetson. Fights off the first pitch. Foul down the left field line.
Napoli has a history in her short Hatter career of being a little fire plug at the bottom of the order and coming through in some big situations in her young career. Be ideal if she can get something middle half in that she can put on the right side of the field.
Another one of these young Illinois recruits that the Hatters have had success with. Saad Kolziski is one, the pitcher for Stetson, and then Foster, their new starting shortstop.
They have some good blue-collar softball up in Illinois.
Strike from Rosenberry on the outer edge, and it's 1-2.
And I think that's a lot of the brand of softball that Coach Cousins wants to play.
Yeah.
She wants that tough-nosed player that's willing to just really outwork themselves every day. You know, forget about the opponent. We're going to outwork ourselves every day.
1-2, Napoli slow roller to third. Edwards is there. Side retired. So the two-out doubleheader, Tim, Godwin, Wong due up for the Cowgirls in the top of the sixth. Stetson looking to pull off one of the bigger wins in program history here, up 6-3 against Oklahoma State. That one bounces off Kolziski's glove, down to second to Puma, not in time. This close to the 1-4-3, but Tim beats it out and is a leadoff base runner for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Tim sends us right back up the middle, and Kolziski gets handcuffed, so it goes off her glove and doesn't have enough juice to get to Puma in time to get the runner at first.
Beat about by about a half step, and now Godwin 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a base hit back in the third inning. That's up and away. So this is the start Oklahoma State wanted. Get somebody on the pond for the power hitters. Godwin, Wong, Wark, Davis, back to back to back to back. 3 through 6. Godwin flies one out to right. That'll hook foul and too far for either DePuma or Fox to make a play on it. 1-1. It was Godwin's single in the third inning that knocked Hobbs out of the game, brought Kolziski in. She's the one Cowgirl hitter that Caitlin has yet to face tonight. She's allowed just 2 hits and has faced 1 over the minimum now after the line-out double play she coaxed out of Edwards to end the 5th. 1-1 to Godwin. That's hit in the air deep right center field, and Fox won't get there as it one-hops the wall. Throw cut off by DePuma. Tim stops at third. Godwin with a double, and now Wong comes up as the tying run.
Yeah, Godwin gets all of this pitch. You see it's up in the zone. She's able to barrel it up and send it out to right center. Fox does a good job of going back on the warning track, but the Patty holds it, but not by much. It takes a carom off the fence.
The bat speed at her size is extraordinary.
I imagine that's something they work on quite a bit.
What a player.
Both in the weight room with the strength of your hands, your forearms, but also just, swinging the bat and swinging it efficiently.
Godwin.
So Kulziski has her first test here with runners at second and third and no outs to see how crafty she can be and getting some outs here and limiting the damage.
And now Wong, who is walked and grounded to third, will look to come through for the Cowgirls, the grad transfer from Liberty. First pitch fouled off right side, and not enough room for Baxter to go get it. 0-1. Huge test for Kulziski and the Hatters here. They have led since the bottom of the first, and their second batter of the game when Cammie Epley hit a 2-run homer.
Yeah, as the Hatter defense right here, you want to take a deep breath, not try to do too much. You want to catch first, throw second, make routine plays routine. Of course, as Kulziski, you want to pick your corners.
0-1 popped up over the screen and out of play. 0-2. Big for Kulziski to get ahead here.
Absolutely. Got to have a little courage. Now you got to pitch around the batter a little bit, try to get her to hit your pitch.
Wong 35 homers in her 4 years as a Flame. Two-time first-team All-A-Sun. Back at the Patty, trying to help her team to come back. 0-2. Riser, and she doesn't go for it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a good waste by Kulzinski there. Just seeing if Wong will be a little too amped up, going for something big.
Get her to go something up in the zone like that. Not a bad idea.
Miss hit it, maybe pop it up to your infield.
The high cheese is called that for a reason. Here's the 1-2. Bends away, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So you're back to even for Caitlin here. So you're ideally get something bottom of the zone, see if you can get a ground ball to your infielder so they can hold the runners and get an out at first. Put your defense to work.
Two balls and 2 strikes. That ball hit out towards left center field. Epley going back, has it on the warning track. The throw coming in towards third. It hits the runner. So Godwin is safe. Tim scores. It's a sacrifice fly for Wong, and it's 6-4. The Hatters will probably take that.
They'll take that. It's a long, long, long fly ball for Wong. She just misses getting a 3-run home run right here. Epley does a great job of going back and corralling it. They limit the Cowgirls to only 1 run, and throw, a nice strong throw comes into third. Almost caromed off the runner. Napoli was able to glove that one.
So what are they going over here in the circle as work comes up?
Well, certainly you're going over what your pitching plan is and what your defense is. You're down to a 2-run lead here. So certainly you want to minimize runs, as always. But how important is the run versus the base runner versus the hitter? What that batter's tendencies are, possible squeeze situations. I wouldn't expect that with this part of the lineup, but you always have to be ready for a little bit of everything.
Work is 0 for 2. Grounded to short, flew to center.
And of course, as a coach, you're going to go out there and kind of break up some momentum as well.
And Work lines this out to center field. Tie game. Absolutely no doubt about it. Michaela Work. That could have gone 300 feet. An absolute moonshot And the Cowgirls have come back to tie it at 6.
There's a no-doubter on this one. She has a nice swing. It's a low pitch, but again, caught a little bit too much. It's not far enough out, and she's a nice blistering swing that just takes that pitch, caroms right over the center field fence. UC Epley has no chance. She just turns and watches. Hits the palm tree out there. Parked it like a pineapple. You hate to see it as a versus your home, the home team, so to speak. But what a great comeback by the Cowgirls.
Yeah, certainly. That'll do it for Kolziski. Victoria Ash, the hard-throwing freshman out of Fort Myers, will come in. Ash is the record holder at Bishop Faroe Catholic High School for single game, single season, and all-time strikeouts. Has yet to allow a run in her first 2 2/3 innings as a Hatter pitcher, and now enters in a 6-6 game in the top of the 6th inning.
More excitement in a whole new ball game. It's like we've done nothing for a couple hours.
We've seen a lot. A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
But none of it, you're right, has actually affected the outcome of the game.
And really a lot to feel good about for both teams.
I would agree. Here's Davis, who homered earlier, and Ash misses outside for ball 1. Harsh on Kolziski, too, who was so good her first couple of innings, but ran into the gauntlet in the 6th.
She had 2 good innings, and she started that inning out really well. But then it started
if she catches that one up the middle from Tim, it's a totally different story. But you give this team an inch.
I think something to build on going forward for her and her career.
Davis takes outside from Ash, 2-1.
Born and raised in the Bronx. I've been there.
And again, great experience for these young pitchers coming in. Face a top 10 team.
Good looking off speed there from Ash, 2-2.
You know what valuable experience that is going forward.
Ash has got a little personality out there. Likes to walk around, fire up her teammates.
She's one of those peppy pitchers. You see that in Hobbs.
Yes.
Hobbs, not much bothers her. She shakes it all off. She's always got a smile on her face. This is kind of the right-handed version of Lauren with just a little bit more pep.
Payoff pitch, struck her out. Welcome to the ball game, Victoria Ash. Strikes out one of the best in her freshman class in Rosie Davis in the entire country, and there's 2 away.
What a nice pitch. She sets her up, and then she goes on that outside curveball. And she's all kind of fired up, as she should be.
Pulled the string. Hatters do have the top of the order due up in the bottom of the 6th. The cause is far from lost for them, as Schneidmiller takes outside for ball 1.
Schneidmiller's flown out twice. Hard shot to Epley out in center, and then a fly ball out to Fox in right. She'd like to add to the hit parade and get on base for her Cowgirls.
Fox made a really nice diving catch to take a base hit from Schneidmiller in the bottom of the top of the 4th inning. 2-0 catches the corner.
Victoria's come out with a lot of confidence here. She's throwing with good rhythm. Getting the ball, getting on the mound, getting her sign, and then she's confidently delivering to the plate. Nice block by Stanfield.
That one didn't quite get what Fox wanted from it, 3-1. Page, the second baseman, was pinch hit for last time. She is on deck to hit for herself here if the inning continues, and it will, as Schneidmiller draws a walk.
So close. Ash looks to pick that outside corner, and
Second baseman, Sophie.
Unfortunately, it floats a little outside.
That is just the second
Allowing
walk
Davis to
of
get
the
the
game,
first. Yep.
Vanessa, from either team. Oklahoma State has not walked a Hatter hitter. There was one walk by Hobbs in the first inning. That has been it until there from Stetson.
Not a lot of freebies flying around tonight.
Page hit a soft liner to shortstop in the second inning, 0 for 1. She takes a strike from Ash. Page, the UAB transfer.
Another solid program.
A Blazer to a Cowgirl, facing the Hatters.
How many Blazers are there in the NCAA?
I think they're the only one.
They're the only
Of course,
ones
the NBA team.
Yeah.
The Portland Trail Blazers, the UAB version, is a dragon-breathing fire, so it is completely different.
Just wonder sometimes, like the Hatters are the only Hatters.
That I am
many-
certain of.
How many single school mascots are there?
There are not a ton of Cowboys and Cowgirls. I know Wyoming. Got to be a couple of others out there, but it's not a super common name. It's just, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are maybe the biggest brand in professional sports, so you hear that quite a bit. Good pitch on 2-1. That thing had a lot of bend on it, and the count is even.
Great command Ash is showing. She's using both sides of the plate. She's working down in the zone. She's even changed speeds, showing the Oklahoma State hitters a variety.
2-2 coming to Page. Tied her up, but she fouls it off. We'll see another pitch.
Be a big statement if Ash can get this last out without allowing another batter. Kind of a momentum shift.
2-2. Page does not offer. The
That
count
off
is
speed
full.
it's just not quite making it to the plate. Stanfield's doing a good job of keeping it in front of her to hold the runner at first. A little bit more arm speed, a little bit more leg.
You do have the catcher over there, so not quite as much concern. 3-2. Ground ball up the middle. Diving stop made by Foster to keep it in the infield, but she has no play. That'll bring Scotland David up with 2 out and 2 on, the go-ahead runner in scoring position.
Yeah, it's a ground ball right up the middle. Foster makes a nice diving play, but is unable to stick it to be able to relay it over to DePuma, and was not going to be able to get to her feet to throw to first, so everybody's safe.
Kenny Gajewski is doing something. I wonder if he'll run for Schneidmiller now that she's at second. Could hit for David as well here. We'll see what he chooses to do.
I'm guessing we're getting a pinch hitter here.
Yeah, looks like it.
Doesn't look.
Jillian Poulard, the grad transfer from McNeese State, is going to pinch hit. Poulard was 2 times All Southland and was a terrific hitter at that level. 320 batting average with a 936 OPS in her 4-year career at McNeese. But left the program after just 9 games last year and has landed at Oklahoma State for her grad season.
What a great opportunities for these young ladies these days. Not only they have that 5th year, the COVID year, but with the transfer portal and with the extra years granted based on COVID, these players are getting to play as grad students and play in multiple programs, whereas before you pretty much you went somewhere and you were there. You lived or died there.
Poulard is typically going to start for Oklahoma State. This is just her 3rd time this year, or 2nd time this year appearing off the bench.
A little different assignment tonight.
1-0 hit high but foul down the right field line. That had the distance. She's just a little bit out in front of it, and it's a very scary strike 1.
Yeah. And that's why you're going to see Poulard start.
Oh, yes.
The bat speed she had on that, it was an inside tight pitch. She was able to get her bat head around it and send it long.
1-1 is outside, 2 balls and a strike. Victoria Ash trying to keep the Hatters level here in the top of the 6th. A 3-run 6th inning, capped off by the 2-run homer from Michaela Wark. We're going to find an extra coconut in that palm tree.
You're going to see Ash. She keeps missing a little short with that changeup.
Yeah.
You're going to see her continue to work on that. And by conference season, that's going to be a good pitch for her.
It's got a ton of movement.
Yeah. They've got a new pitching coach and Coach Taylor this year, and that's going to continue to pay dividends for them as well.
Becca Taylor coming in with Shelly Cousins. Good pitch on the inside corner. Pollard throwing the bat, thinking she had the walk, but that had way too much plate.
After that long foul ball on that inside pitch, that's brave of Ash to come back, and she put that one where she needed to. It was low and in as opposed to waist high and in.
3-2, 2 out, 2 on, 6-6 game in the top of the 6th. And Pollard fouls it off. And a walk would not untie the game, but you'd be putting yourself in incredibly difficult position with one of the best players in the country on deck in Talon Edwards.
But as we mentioned at the top, there are no holes. You can't just work around a couple of batters and think you can sail smoothly.
Another foul pop up out of play.
As a pitcher, as a defense, you have to be on 1 through 9.
What an atmosphere for a February game here, Vanessa.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is
not only February,
awesome.
but a midweek.
Yeah, Wednesday night, we got a packed house. Oklahoma State's home base to start the year has been in Tampa. Came up 2.5 hours to play the game. Their fans have come with them. It's been awesome. 3-2, another foul pop up, and we'll do it again. We're going to get a 9th pitch in this duel between Ash and Pollard.
Absolutely.
Hatters have the top of the order due up in the bottom of the 6th. As one of the top teams in the country is dueling with an ascending Southeastern program under a young, hungry head coach. Payoff pitch. Another long foul ball into the night. Oh, goodness. That one not quite so close to the pole.
The base runners are certainly getting their work out.
The merry-go-round's been in motion since pitch number 6. We're about to get number 10.
The full count and 2 outs. Every time the pitch is released, they're going somewhere, and they're getting their sprints in.
Payoff pitch again. And that's hit out to right field in fair territory. Fox just watches it go. A 3-run pinch hit home run for Jillian Pollard. And Oklahoma State has their first lead since the first inning. A 6th spot in the top of the 6th.
There's no doubt about that when Pollard gets that pitch in, back on the inside half of the plate, but she gets it about waist high. I think it's the off speed that doesn't fool her at all. She's able to barrel it up, and she sends it out into the night. Almost hit the dorm out there and right. She's all kind of excited. She's brought her Cowgirls into the lead for the first time this evening.
And now Edwards, the 9th hitter up in the inning against Ash, who was this close to getting out of it. Those are her first runs allowed as a college pitcher. It's a welcome to college moment, unfortunately, for Victoria Ash right there.
It's unfortunate, but it's a great, as I said before, great learning experience. You're going to learn, you know, what you can and what you can't do, what you can get away with, and where you need to get better. And that's important to do this time of year. I mean, we're talking about it's only February.
You're Kenny Gajewski. You're trying to, I mean, what would it mean to unseat Oklahoma on their way out of the Big 12? And
absolutely.
You got a player like Jillian Pollard you can pinch hit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be a typical pinch hitter.
No, she's going to start games. There's no question about that.
You go through their lineup, and they've got any number of people that they're going to pull off the bench to fill holes.
You look at their 9 today, there was no one that stands out as an obvious, oh, they're just getting the game today kind of player.
Exactly. I mean, there's no slouches, there's no just free passes of, oh, she's a nice kid, let's give her an at bat here or there. That just doesn't happen much at the programs of that caliber. Even if players come in as, quote, average players, they tend to get much better just being around the talent with all the facilities, with the coaching, the work that they put in. Even the average player becomes a great player.
And another pinch hitter here Edwards still up here as she takes a strike and then flies out to left field to retire the side. 2 home runs in the inning for Oklahoma State. Jillian Poulard's 3-run shot gives them the lead. A 6-run top of the 6th. Hatter, top of the order, look to respond next. They were down 6-3. They're now ahead 9-6 after erupting for 6 runs in the top of this inning. Addison Foster takes on the outside corner for a strike. Foster is 3 for 3, and they're going to need 4 for 4 here, Stetson, as they try to now come back from a multi-run deficit for the first time tonight. And those zeros from Rosenberry absolutely crucial, give Oklahoma State a chance to make that comeback. Edwards smothers this ground ball. What a throw from her knees, and gets Foster by a stride. Talon Edwards, what a play.
That's why Talon Edwards came out of high school early. That right there plays. She can just play the short ones, the long ones, the hard ones, make them all look easy.
Another year in high school would have been a waste of time.
Absolutely.
17 years old, she played last year and was one of the best freshmen in the Big 12. Now she looks like she's just going to be flat out one of the best players in the Big 12.
Offensively and defensively.
Epley homered in the first inning. That got the Hatters the lead. Then reached on a fielder's choice error in the second, came around to score. 1 out of 3 overall. And that one hit her on the knee. So the Hatters get a base runner with Cammie Epley. And that'll bring the tying run on deck and lay Freeman to the plate here. This is a good start for Stetson here with 1 out in the 6th. How aggressive are you? Not at all, right? You know, down 3 runs.
So you love it as a Hatters to get that runner on, get the wheels turning.
Swing and a miss by Freeman at the first pitch. Freeman is 2 out of 3 with a run scored and an RBI. Takes on the outside corner, 0-2.
Be a great time if you're a Hatter for another display of power by Miss Freeman.
She does have a home run already in her Hatter career. Hit 18 in 145 games at Presbyterian.
Of course, she got good speed at first base, so even a single in the gap gets you a first to third, probably. A double probably scores her.
Yeah, home run doesn't change the fact that you're losing here, too.
Correct.
Just keep moving them. That's low and outside, 2-2.
As a Hatter hitter, especially with Rosenberry's dominance so far, you're, again, looking to shorten up that swing and just put some things on the green. Let the merry-go-round start. You got to link some together and score some runs that way.
2-2, fouled away.
Let the home runs happen by mistake. It's not what you go up looking for. It's just a good byproduct of a nice, easy swing. I wonder if Coach Cousins is going to be brave and put the runners in motion at some point.
Yeah, how aggressive do you get?
It's a good question.
Up the middle, off the shoe, and it sets up perfectly to get the force out. 1-4-6 to get Epley at second. And a bit of serendipity there for Oklahoma State. There's 2 away.
Unfortunate carom for the Hatters as it goes off of Rosenberry. She's unable to field it right back up the middle. It goes off her cleat, but fortunately for the Cowgirls, right to second base. They're almost able to turn the double play, but you see it kind of goes right off the left foot here of Rosenberry.
That's actually better than a strikeout for Oklahoma State, because you've gone from the speed of Epley to Freeman, who cannot be run for because Shelly Cousins ran for her in the first inning.
Well, she can be run for. She just won't go back in the game, and I think that's what Coach Cousins is going to do here.
Oh, wow.
Just Miss Freeman's night will be done. But that's a trade-off you have to make here. You're late in the game, and you need to score runs.
Nadia English is going to run for her. A true freshman out of Melbourne, Florida. Baxter fouls off the first pitch. Be a big chance here for Marissa, who's 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts and has reached on an error.
Be a great situation for the upperclassmen to come through for Hatter teammates here. Just settle in the box, put her bat head on the ball.
Rosenberry misses low, 1-1.
I think if the Hatters can get her and Stanfield going here in the early season, it'll pay huge dividends for them going forward throughout the conference season. Big double for Stanfield in the previous inning. Baxter ahead 2-1. She did not go around. That one just below the knees, and Baxter ahead 3-1. It's a great count as a hitter. You're looking for a particular zone, not necessarily a particular pitch, but a particular zone here.
Swings and misses right through it.
And she took a nice aggressive swing. She must have been looking for middle outside, something she can drive to the backside of the field. Put a good swing out there, just missed the middle of the pitch.
Rosenberry looking to get out of it. Payoff pitch, struck her out. Strikeout number 6.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to get a lot easier for Ash here in this 7th inning. She's going to kind of face the heart of the order.
Haven't had any time to really talk about Claire Tim. She has seen 5 pitches in 4 plate appearances tonight.
She's definitely aggressive at the plate, and it's paying off. She's hit it hard, hit it well. She sacrificed in the first inning, and then she's hit it well.
Godwin 2 for 3 with a double, fouls one off. Godwin is going to be a superstar, hitting .333 now for the year in her freshman season.
The only really hole we've seen out of her is the changeup in the first inning.
And she got fooled by Lauren Hobbs. She learned that lesson. Knocked her out of the game with a base hit in the 3rd, and then hit a double to the wall in right center against Kolsiski in the 6th.
She went down in her first at bat, and then she had that hard grounder through the right side.
Number 8 player in the 2023 class. Oklahoma State also rosters the number 6 player, pitcher Katie Coots, who was 19-0 with an 0.45 ERA last year in high school, and is also a professional bodybuilder. They expect big things from her.
But talk about dedication and work ethic. I'm sure that pays off for her hugely on the mound. But I mean, talking about the quality of his recruiting class, I think Coach Kajewski is one of the better people in college softball. He's just a genuine good person, and those attract good people.
Godwin hits one out towards right center. Fox ranging over makes the catch for the first out. Those are going to start leaving the yard sooner or later for Godwin, but got a little bit under that one.
So just a little out in front. Sent it for a long ride. Fox, with her speed, is able to track it down. Ash has so far dodged a bullet here in the 7th.
Good out there for Victoria as Wong steps up. Wong nearly had the game-tying homer in the 6th inning. Hit a sac fly to the track. It was left to work 1 pitch later to hit the game-tying dinger. And Wong takes a strike. Good framing there by Stanfield to yank that one back over.
I think a good takeaway for the Hatters this evening, Coach Cousins, is that the Hatters haven't been on their heels. They've been in the game. They've been expecting to be in the game.
It's true of the first game, too, against Washington.
Absolutely. So, you know, regardless of the outcome of the game, it has been a fantastic day for Hatter softball. Great experience for not only the players, but the coaches and the fans.
Yeah, what an awesome night out at the park. Anybody who attended tonight. And still some marquee opponents left on the schedule this year.
Absolutely.
Not to mention an ASUN that is always one of the best mid-major leagues in the country.
Of course, Patricia Wilson Field never lets you down as far as the quality.
Well, there's your home run for Wong. She got all of that one, a line drive shot to make it 11-6.
So it took the Cowgirl bats a little while to settle in and adjust. Perhaps the pushing the game time back started them off a little bit in the hole, but they have had no problems making up ground.
First game in nearly 2 years in which Oklahoma State has hit 5 home runs. That was against Texas Tech on March 27th of 2022. Virtually all of their production, 9 of their 11 runs have come via the home run, and we will get the 4th Hatter pitcher, their other freshman, Caitlin Mullen, a left-hander out of Livingston, New Jersey.
And again, another look, another arm out of the bullpen to give the Cowgirls just another look. Get some more experience for these young pitchers on the mound and in big game situations facing big bats. Of course, you're putting your pitching coach to work too, but you're also, as I mentioned before, you're giving these young pitchers a good look at good hitters. You know, close is not good enough. It has to be great. And so they're going to, you know, going forward, they're going to have a lot more feedback to go through. If they had waltzed through the game and not been touched, they would think they were there. So now they have some feedback, you know, as unpleasant as it might be, they have some feedback going forward on what they need to improve on to become even better the rest of the season.
Mullen missing outside to Work, who hit a rocket into the palm trees in dead center to tie the game back in the 6th inning. Mullen, you saw the numbers, has dealt with a lot of base runners so far in her young career, but she's handled them very well. It's a good strand rate so far. Was named the most outstanding female athlete at her high school in Livingston, New Jersey, as a senior for her all-around contributions at the school. And she gets Work to pop one up towards shallow right center. Fox coming in to make the catch, and there's 2 away.
You got to think these players that are coming south to play college softball. I mean, what's the weather in New Jersey like right now?
Not great. Not great. It's not horrible. It's not like, you know, Wisconsin or upstate New York or anything like that, but yeah, it's chilly.
But as a pitcher, you can come down. You'd much rather sweat as a pitcher than be cold.
Here's Rosie Davis, who has one of those 5 Cowgirl home runs tonight. She is 1 for 3 overall.
I know as a catcher and a hitter, I would much rather play in the heat than the cold. There's just something that just hurts your bones.
It's interesting. It depends on the sport, right? You know, so you talk to soccer players, they would much rather play in the cold because you're running the entire game.
And
softball's so mental in a lot of ways.
Well, it's much less aerobic for sure.
Yes.
I mean, you're
bursts
running,
of running.
You're running a few sprints in the game. You're not running constantly. And there's a reason why softball players don't have heart rate monitors. Like even your soccer players or even your basketball players
Yeah,
do.
for sure. Basketball, you don't really got to worry about the weather.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing pickup.
But, you know, those sports, you're pretty much constant motion. In softball, there's a lot more dead time. Not as much as baseball, but certainly much more than those traditionally aerobic sports.
Not nearly as much as baseball.
There's a lot more thinking time in baseball.
Sure is. 0-2 to Davis. And that just glances away from Stanfield's glove. I wonder if she'd caught that, if that might not have been a strike. But it's so hard for the umpire to call that a strike when the catcher doesn't grab it.
I think there's a little mix-up on that. I think Jordan got what she was expecting. Of course, early in the season for the pitchers and catchers too, especially the freshman pitchers, and you know, they're used to getting pitches coming in from the dugout at this day and time, but maybe at not the pace with the pitch counter this year,
right.
the clock and the timing. And
I don't know that softball really needed to be sped up at all. Certainly baseball desperately needed it. It did wonders at the professional level, finally coming to Major League Baseball last year.
I think there are some teams and some coaches that traditionally slow down the game, and that's part of their whole, you know, MO was to slow down the game. But I think overall, I think softball had a pretty good pace.
Payoff pitch, hammered down the left side. That's a base hit for Davis.
His single through the 5-6 hole. Mullen tosses it in, and Davis is able to get a big piece.
Gonna get a pinch hitter here for the Cowboys.
Napoli did a valiant effort diving for that, but she had no chance.
Lexi McDonald is gonna pinch hit for Schneidmiller.
See Coach getting some pinch hitters here, getting some at-bats.
McDonald, a sophomore lefty swinger out of Silo, Oklahoma. 1 for 6 on the season, appearing in a game for the 6th time.
Your attention, please. Entering the game to pitch run at first base.
Also got a pinch runner for Davis, Taylor Anderson.
She doesn't look like she spends much time in one place either.
Anderson, 5'4" freshman out of Dripping Springs, Texas.
What a great name.
Yeah.
Dripping Springs. Sounds very refreshing.
I would imagine there is a very nice spring in Dripping Springs, Texas.
Hopefully.
I'm going out on a limb by guessing that, but you're going to call your town that, I would imagine. There are some I mean, in Florida too, but the natural swimming out there in Texas is phenomenal.
You have places like Mount Pleasant that have no mountains. So
I've been to Mount Pleasant. It's very flat.
it is pleasant,
Yes.
but it's not much mountain.
Anderson does have a steal this year as a pinch runner, not that you would be running in this situation.
Mullen falling behind. She just needs to find herself a little bit here, get some rhythm, work her pitches.
There's a throw down. They run up 5 runs in the 7th inning. And Anderson's got a stolen base.
It's something you typically see up 5, but you've got some new players in there. It's early in the season. I guess you want to get them some experience. And of course, for all we know, they have an open light or green light system.
McDonald hits this in the air to the left side. Coming over is Foster, who drops it. Oh, she made a great play to get all the way over there into foul ground from shortstop and then couldn't hang on, and the inning continues.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think what happens is she does all the work to get over there, and then she kind of just loses her concentration right at the last minute. It just banks right out of her glove.
She had the 2 hands. It looked perfect, and then, just kind of...
Fortunately, she was foul.
Bounced out of there. So we'll get a payoff pitch, and McDonald gets more on this one, and will foul it off the clubhouse roof.
You hate that for Foster. You know she wants to help her teammate.
Yeah.
Team out, and you're giving up a free out.
That one roped out towards right, straight to Fox, who makes the catch. He's had a great game out there in right field.
Absolutely. She's had a lot of opportunities to make some great catches.
That retires the side, but 2 more for Oklahoma State. Caroline Wong, the 5th of the night for the Cowgirls. They lead 11-7 going to the bottom of the 7th. Four innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, a hit batter, and 7 strikeouts.
Your attention, please. Changes for Oklahoma State.
On the season now, 17 innings, 11 hits, 1 run, 5 walks to 22 Ks. That'll play. You throw like that, she's going to get a lot more opportunity.
Absolutely.
Only threw 37 innings last year. I think that's going to be a triple-digit number in 2024.
If tonight's any indication, she's going to get a lot more opportunities.
Hatters have a pinch hitter here. Jayla Haynes, a junior out of Ocala, will hit for Annabella McLaren.
Coach Cousins using the opportunity to get some of her players off the bench and into the game.
Also have a defensive change for Oklahoma State. Hayden Sokolowski has come into right field for Caroline Wong, who hit the 5th and likely final home run of the night for OK State. Already twice this year, they have now had 4+ home runs in a game. They hit 4 against UCLA on February the 10th, and now 5 tonight. This team is going to hit for a ton of power. You add Godwin, Wong, and Davis into the middle of this order, I mean, look out. Good luck, Big 12.
Once again, a football-looking score. You know, we're looking at not only the Hatters score 6, but Oklahoma State's ponied up
kind
11.
of maybe an aggressive 2-point conversion in there, but just about. Haynes is punched out on the outside corner. That is strikeout number 8 for Ivy Rosenberry. All smiles tonight.
Taking nothing away from Rosenberry. She makes a great pitch here. But as Haynes, you're coming off the bench, you've got to cover. You know, you're down in the count. It did look to be off the plate on the outside, but you know, you got to take your advantage of your opportunities when you're given them. So foul that off and look to see another pitch. Got another pinch hitter here in Yvette Morgan.
Morgan played quite a bit last year. Senior in her 2nd year with the Hatters. Started at Chipola College. Was very hot to start the season and then kind of dipped off as the year went on. They're hoping for her to regain that form.
Yeah, she held down second base the majority of last year.
Morgan out of Polson, Montana.
Yeah.
Shelly Cousins casting a wide net. Though, to be fair, she didn't recruit her out of Montana,
Correct.
but still.
Correct. I think it's, you know, such a good life opportunity when you get these college teams with players from all over the country and even other countries. Just the differences in upbringing, the differences in culture and environment that these players grow up in, and you're not only going somewhere else to play, but even like for the Hatters, your Floridians getting exposure to players from out of state.
Morgan with a little dribbler up the middle. Tough play for Page, not in time. Yvette Morgan beats it out for an infield single.
Seeing eye single for Yvette Morgan. Blazing speed going down to first. I imagine we'll see DePuma come back in here, as we do.
She sure will. DePuma will run for Morgan over there.
She says, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for the hit.
Thanks for getting me on first.
Fox will be pinch hit for as well. This is Riley Venn, another one of those Illinois freshmen from Oak Brook, Illinois.
I love seeing these coaches using their benches and pulling in players, getting everybody in the game. What a great experience. You'll see if Venn's able to.
This is Venn's college debut.
Take advantage of her first college hit,
yep.
Or at bat, I should say. Maybe I can luck her into a hit here.
What an exciting moment for her.
Your first college at bat is versus number 6.
And she may not see heat like this again in her entire career. At bat number 1, welcome to college softball.
Usually at the mid-major level, if you have somebody that throws this hard, they're not at least throwing this consistently around the plate.
Right.
You get somebody that's a little bit more of a wild feather, if you will.
I think you were spot on talking about, you know, building those rosters from people all over. Oklahoma State features that. Yeah, it's a good life lesson, right? You know, meet as many
Absolutely.
different types of people as you can. You never want to be in your own bubble, and you grow so close as a team of athletes.
What do you think? You grow up, you're in high school with people from your area, people in your neighborhood probably you played, Little League with, and then you get on a travel team, and then you get people from kind of within your state, maybe even regionally if you're, a smaller state and you're going to draw from somebody across the line. But not until you get to college do you really get that true kind of national or international experience of being exposed to other cultures. It's just, even if it's just the accent, it's different. The foods are different, the life expectations are different. I mean, you find a lot of commonalities, but you learn to normalize a lot of things that maybe you thought were dramatically different.
Now you look at the Oklahoma State roster, obviously a lot of Oklahoma, Texas, but you got lots of different states represented. New York, England, of course, with Tia Warsop. There's Venn in her first college at bat, grounds to the pitcher and moves DePuma along to second. A productive first plate appearance in Riley Venn's young career. And we will get yet another pinch hitter as Dylan Anthony, junior catcher out of Punta Gorda, Florida, will come up to hit for Stanfield.
Please pinch hitting at number 8 position for Jordan Stanfield, number 24, Dylan.
So almost the entire Hatter roster has gotten into this game tonight.
I think that's fabulous. Why not? Why wouldn't you use these early season opportunities, especially against a team as skilled as Oklahoma State?
I count 2 players that have not appeared, Gianna Niemeyer and obviously Hannah Marine, who pitched 7 innings against Washington earlier today. And that's it.
And to be fair to the coaching staff, of course, you are in the 7th here, but you traditionally save at least one player one position player on your roster in case,
Well, I do have Anthony hitting in the catcher spot here, so still thinking about that. And the game is not over, although it is a strike away as Rosenberry.
I think not in my coaching career, but in my playing career, back in the golden ages, we did play a team that actually subbed in their last player and then somebody got hurt.
Wow.
And so, talk about worst case scenario. You got, you don't have the ability to put anybody else in. That kid had to just stand out. They put her out in the outfield and just had her stand there with potentially a broken leg.
Oh,
She's
my
just
gosh.
standing out in the outfield. You have that or,
I sense that would not happen today.
No.
2-2
sure.
swing and a miss. Rosenberry with her 9th strikeout ends the game, and Oklahoma State overcomes a 4-run deficit and avoids an upset at the hand of the Stetson Hatters. Great game. 5 home runs from the Cowgirls. Big offense from Stetson early as well. And just a nice night out at the ballpark.
Absolutely. A great night at the Patty. Had a great crowd for both games.